Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MUSH. What is the MUSH, you might ask? Well, it's a very unique strategy in Age of Empires 2, designed specifically for the map Arena. Now, I have a confession to make. I am not the best player when it comes to Arena. It's not my strength. The Arena often boils down to that post-Imperial grind where trash armies crash into each other until eventually, just through pure attrition, one side ends up victorious. I'm not very good at that yet. That's not my strength. And so when I play Arena, I am on the lookout for new strategies to give me a decisive edge early on in Arena. And in doing my research and running into different things, I came across the MUSH. So that's what we're going to be trying out today. I've been practicing it with the bots, and this is my first game actually taking it online. Now, you might notice, this is not Arena. And that is not for lack of trying. I kept starring Arena and going for it again and again, and they would not give me Arena. Finally, I came across Hideout, which is close enough, I think, to Arena to give us a similar experience, and it'll at least let us show off what, how this strategy works. So, the MUSH. It stands for a monk rush, and the whole idea is we're going to be rushing up into the Castle Age, fast castle, into monks and siege units as quickly as possible. And then we're going to flood the enemy base with monks and siege. And then we'll just, build up our economy behind that, and hopefully we cause enough of a disruption in Blue's base that we take a decisive advantage for the rest of the game. We'll see. You have myself, the Iron Kaiser, in the red, playing as the Bohemians. Now, I will admit, I did choose the Bohemians to give me a little bit of an advantage with the Monk Rush. With the Bohemians, you have the cheaper blacksmith and the cheaper monastery, which is going to be really helpful for, again, getting that Monk Rush going. We also have our villagers benefiting from a couple of the monk technologies, which I just think is a really nice bonus and will help our economy be that much stronger, particularly fervor. The fact that with the Bohemians, they benefit from fervor, the villagers do, is just a really nice little bonus that helps make your economy that much stronger. So that's pretty neat. My opponent, meanwhile, in the blue, the After Effect, playing as the Lithuanians. Lithuanians, of course, a classic cavalry civilization. They start with 150 bonus food, which makes their early game very strong. If we were playing Arabia, I would not be surprised to get hit with an early drush because of that extra 150 food. But also, they're going to be on the lookout for relics. They're going to be playing their own monk game, and you better believe they're going to want to go into knights, because with the Lithuanians, for every relic you collect, your knights and your unique unit, the latest, gain +1 attack. So if you let the Lithuanians get all the relics, they have the strongest knights in the game, bar none. We're not going to let that happen, are we? Well, we're certainly going to try. So, here's the breakdown. Right now, it seems pretty traditional. There's a very strong food focus with the MUSH. You have, first 6 on sheep, then 4 on wood. And then you'll notice it should be 5 on berries. I am by no means an expert at the MUSH. In fact, like I said, this was my very first game taking it online. So you'll actually see I have 6 on berries, and I think later on I move one of them over to wood. We start off with a strong focus on food because it's important to get a lot of food in order to rush our way up to the Castle Age. And you'll see I also let myself get housed. It's the worst. There we go. There's my berry villager going over to wood now. And we start off with a lot on food, but what you're going to see is as we tech up into the Castle Age, the majority of the villagers will be on wood and will be on gold. And that's because the units that we have to flood the enemy with are monks and siege units. Monks cost gold, siege units cost gold and wood. So we want to have a lot of both resources. And only enough villagers on food to keep our economy going and start building that up behind us, right? Yeah, we already have, 500 on food, or 500 wood, 15 villagers on food, and we want even more. We're not done here. We're rushing up food in order to fast castle. This is a pretty typical fast castle sort of move. Let's take a look here. The goal with the MUSH is to have 25 villagers, and then you tech up into the next stage. I think I'm gonna get housed again. So, this video and this replay is by no means the perfect display of how to precisely perform a MUSH strategy down to the millisecond. With the exactly perfect build order. That's not what this is. In fact, there are other videos out there that are better at this. But what I think this video does demonstrate is, again, in practice, at that 1100-ish elo. I think this was like 1050. I want to say when I recorded this one. How can this strategy work in practice, even with the kinds of mistakes and slip-ups that real players often make? This video kind of shows off what that looks like, and how it's still an effective strategy, even if you do make the occasional mistake. So I'm teching up here with 24 vills. 25 is typical for the fastest fast castle. And it looks like my opponent has 28 vills, so he's doing better than me, and at least has a stronger economy going. And probably has a similar strategy. He also wants to fast castle. Most likely fast castle into knights is his game plan. Now, let's switch over to my view here. You will notice that while I've been working on my economy, and already, because of this very strong food focus, I already have 900 food, more than enough to go up to the next age. I very quickly throw down, I take 2 villagers off of wood, put down a market, take 1 villager off of wood, put down a blacksmith. We get those up right away, and what I should do is sell some resources in order to get the gold. Sell, tech up, fast castle. Already on the way to the castle age in 13 minutes. Is that a world record? Not at all, but it'll get the job done. I'm taking up to castle age at the same time that the after effect here is still working in the feudal age. Still working up to feudal. So feeling pretty good at this point. I need more on gold. Actually, I need more on gold and wood. So what you will soon see, quite a few of my vills, I believe with these guys, as soon as they're done with the deer, I put them onto... I think I split them up. Some will go into wood, some go into gold. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe you end up wanting to have, I want to say 14, 15 vills on wood. You want double-digit, villagers on wood. And also, again, you want to focus on wood and gold, get those resources up. And then once you have a high number on both, I want to say it's maybe 10, 12 vills on gold. That reminds me, by the way, another bonus that the Bohemians have is because they get their mining camp technologies immediately, that means that their gold miners are more effective as I tech up, which means I don't need as many gold miners as the normal MUSH strategy would require, which is a nice bonus. And what you'll see, I have 2 villagers already making their way to the enemy base. Right? So as soon as I hit castle, I'm going to be able to throw down a monastery and a siege workshop. I like placing the monastery near a relic if I find one. And you'll see that I have found one here. So I'm going to put down the monastery near the relic so I can grab that, toss it in there, and just get that extra gold, because why not? And then with the siege workshop, I'm going to get the siege workshop down. I will be building a battering ram. If this were arena, I would build 2 battering rams in order to break through stone walls. In this case, we're just talking about a palisade wall, so I think 1 should be sufficient. And then go into mangonel. Why mangonel? Well, the monk is already going to be perfect for dealing with cavalry, knights specifically. And we know the Lithuanian player wants to go into knights. But if the Lithuanian is going into skirmishers, as in fact, believe it or not, he is, then we need a response for the skirmishers, and monks really are not going to be very effective. So, the mangonel is going to be very effective at dealing with archers and skirmishers. That's what we will be using as a response to that. Meanwhile, my 2 villagers that I sent forward, I'm sending them back, putting them on gold. 15 vills on wood. That sounds right to me. 15 on wood, and probably I could use even more on gold. I probably don't have enough on gold, but it will get the job done in this case. Yeah, so here, I mean, he's throwing trash at me, which actually is the right response. Now, fortunately, I do have my scout, and my scout is a good temporary response for the skirmishers. It might have been a good idea for me to actually just go ahead and just build a mangonel straight out, right out of the gate. But I will have the mangonel up for the next round. You're using the monk to cover your siege weapons, and that's both for knights that might attack the units, but then also if you have villagers, let's say you have a villager coming in from behind and trying to build a wall or build a house or something like that to stop the advance, then you can use the monk to convert the villager. All right, so he's got spearmen. And I decide, I'm a little worried. I don't know how to deal with the spearmen, so I just go with the monks, right? Convert the spears, use his spears to attack his spears, and use his resources against him. Now, this was a pretty cool move. I like it. On the other hand, the monks, and you can see the little white bar down at the bottom here, they have just used their conversion ability, so it has to recharge, and he hits me with knights as the power is down. Not cool. This battering ram is not long for this world, but I use it as an opportunity to get some damage. I lose. See, I really misplay this early on. And this is another reason why I shared this replay is actually, again, my opening is not very good here. I lose my early siege units. I lose my early monks. It kind of doesn't pan out for me. Right? But... And this is where I get worried. I get to thinking, okay, I've really ruined this. I have totally misplayed the situation, but I decide to go all in and keep up the pressure. Fortunately, I get the conversion off. And we keep going with monks. And this is where I get lucky, I think, because my opponent is playing as the Lithuanians, and he wants to go into knights. And I think he's probably thinking, I've won this, I stopped the early aggression. And so he's going into knights, and knights are exactly what monks want to counter. So I think if he had kept going into skirmishers and spearmen, I would have been in a lot of trouble. Because monks don't do well against trash units. But now I'm developing a little bit of a cavalry here out of his pocket, and I'm continuing to produce at home. I'm keeping eyes on the attack, but I'm going back here, producing more vills, getting more on gold, more on wood. You'll see I'm getting a barracks up in order to get out a couple of spearmen to help me. Why? Because again, the Bohemians have a bonus to spears. They do bonus damage against knights, and so I figure that can't hurt. Let's get them out there to help. But again, the primary focus is going to be on more monks, more siege. Here we go. I don't want to kill you. I want you to join me. Boom, boom. And now, yeah, with every knight, it's just an opportunity to make my own force stronger. Right? And if he does decide to switch into, again, skirmishers or archers, well, that's what the mangonels are for. So he's kind of in a lose-lose situation at this point. I think his best option is to go spearmen. Spearmen will counter the battering rams. If they get close enough, they can counter the mangonels. Converting a single trash unit often does not do a whole lot because trash units get their strength from numbers. Yeah, I'm I'm wanting to lure him. Yeah, here we go. More knights. More knights. Give them to me. Yeah. So, I feel pretty good about it. You know, here, again, I suddenly, all of a sudden, I have the military advantage. I have the economic advantage. He has gone into the 3TC build, which is typical, but if my attack here is effective, he won't be able to benefit from building all those town centers. It'll be kind of a waste of resources. Again, keeping my economy going at home, while the siege makes short work of his town centers. Note, by the way, in that last battle where I had the battering ram against the town center, your mangonels will damage your battering ram if they're both targeting the same thing. So it's a better idea to send the battering ram off to one building and the mangonels to another. You don't want to friendly fire your own units. Another knight. I'll take it. And this is panning out swimmingly at this point. He's low on wood, low on stone. Every single... He has only a little bit of food that he can't really put into villagers because he keeps trying to, put out more knights. But no. No, and I'm keeping the monk production going. What I love about this, too, is not just, the conversions, but how you get to heal your own units. So you're constantly fighting at maximum strength. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, there are 2 more knights. This is a nightmare for the after effect. And so even if he swoops in and he takes out a mangonel, well, it only makes me stronger. Now he's sending villagers to try. He's so desperate. How do I deal with these units? And he's stuck. So at this point, I can tell I have an advantage, and I feel pretty confident about where I'm at. I've got the spearmen now to defend the siege. I honestly should be pumping out 1 or 2 more mangonels at this point, but I can tell I have an advantage, so I go in to get vill kills and to secure my economic strength. Ooh, ooh. Ah, saved. Just barely. The after effect says the conversions are out of control, and he's right. He's wondering, what do I do in this situation? It is tough stuff. Yeah, and at this point, I think victory is secure. I said this a lot during the Noob Cup, but it's sort of one of those things where even if you deleted my entire army, I have triple his economy. And that's a hard place to come back from, even with 2 town centers. As I have myself now built a second town center, and I'm shifting over. I'm trying to keep the pressure going, but I've considered the MUSH a massive success at this point. And I'm wanting to make sure that I'm keeping my economy going at home and transitioning over into a more traditional strategy as a backup plan, just in case, he hangs on and all of a sudden I've got to deal with, some other strategy. So 1 more conversion and a knight goes down. Triple the economy, the military, and After Effect calls the GG. So, again, was this the most optimal MUSH play? Not at all, but it was my very first time taking it online, and I found it a rousing success. It was really great. It was a lot of fun to play, and so I'm looking forward to taking this, online more often, especially on Arena. I want to see how effective it would be in Arena gameplay. So maybe we'll see more MUSH on this channel, but this was something I really enjoyed. This was a really fun game. You get to play a lot of micro, which I think is something I enjoyed doing. I am really enjoying using monks in general, and I really enjoyed it here. So, let me know what you guys think. Have you all played the MUSH before? Do you think that there are some civilizations that are better at it than others? Feel free to leave a note in the comments, and let me know your own experiences. Have you ever gone up against a MUSH, and what strategies do you use to stop it? Let me know what you think. In the meantime, this is the Iron Kaiser, signing off.